How was our universe born? If it's difficult to answer this, then what about the question of what happened before our universe in general? While scientists are looking for an answer to the most difficult question in history, let's find out what they came to in the 20th century. One great man, Edwin Hubble, once shed light on this mystery on Mount Wilson in Southern California. He pointed his telescope at the sky and discovered that the clouds of gas that fly everywhere, there are actually other galaxies, and there are a lot of them. And he also learned that they are moving forever. So what do you ask? But it meant one very important thing. The universe is expanding, and if it is expanding, then it means something after all. It all started, didn't it? All that remains is to turn back time and see exactly where it took scientists many more years to develop a full-fledged theory. The theory of the Big Bang. Nothing reigned everywhere, and there were no concepts of when and where. There was only a cosmic singularity. This is the state of our universe, in which it was incredibly small, dense, and imagine that our universe was compressed into a small ball. The pressure and temperature inside were enormous. At some point, it became impossible to resist this, and there was a big explosion, an outburst of energy and matter of titanic force that created everything we see now. In space, the main physical forces and quarks are the tiny particles that make up our world. They boiled in a hot cosmic broth. When it cooled down, gravity began to attract them to each other. They gathered into atoms, then into molecules, and then the first object of the stars, and all of this happened just some 12 to 14 billion years ago. Now we know how our universe arose, but that was before Alan Have-Got, American physicist, theorist, and cosmologist, has devoted his life to solving this mystery. He found some flaws in the Big Bang theory. For example, the distribution of matter was very uniform. Although this was not supposed to be hung from the ceiling balloon filled with paint, and the bed on the floor is a blank canvas. If you drop the ball, it will burst and the canvas will be absolute chaos, a bunch of different spots randomly scattered everywhere. But all is not as it looked. Earlier universe, instead of trying to throw the ball, let's draw on the canvas a little red, now a little increase. A little more. If you capture this stop motion, we see the circle gradually growing in all directions. This is the reality of the early universe. Was smooth and proportionate. It was opening goose. The theory of inflation, according to her, before the Big Bang there was some kind of power that could have given the explosion of a powerful acceleration. Something that instantly and evenly distributed all in space. The goose's theory had great success. Now, it repelled many scientists. For most of them, the idea of the birth of the universe is enough for most. But not for all. Martin Bowatt, German professor of physics, he believed that the universe was born in a very another. Remember, we talked about the cosmic singularity. Well, that is the state of the universe in which it was a little dense and super hot. According to the theory of Beewald, the singularity could not arise out of nowhere. It's nonsense. Well, then how did it get there? Let's take a look at the old clock pendulum, which swings to the right and to the left. It moves smoothly and continuously, without stopping. That's how we see it, and does not stop flowing. But quantum's not how time works. It's more like the second hand of the clock. It consists of small segments and makes a short pause as second hand watches. The beginning of one period of time is always the end of another. Understand what it is? Let's go back again to balloons. According to the Big Bang theory, once upon a time long ago, our universe began to expand, to inflate like a balloon. But sooner or later, the ball is blown, the universe will begin to contract and will return to the state space of the singularity, and then another Big Bang. Nothing appears out of nowhere and disappear into nowhere. According to the theory of Beewald, the beginning of each universe is the end of the previous. Our universe is not the first and not the last. Millions of such universes existed before us and will exist after. This theory, though it sounds very logical, is far from complete. Unfortunately, we don't have enough knowledge to find all the evidence. So far is only a hypothesis, but some scientists come in even more strange ideas sometimes. They put forward a very unusual theory. Neil Turok, South African physicist, and his colleague Paul Stanford, American theoretical physicist, searches for answers far beyond our universe. They agree that our universe is not their first, was and will be an infinite number. According to their theory, our universe is just one of an infinite number of others. And we are all stuck in a cycle of endless rebirth, parallel worlds. And scary sounds weird, but it works. According to this theory, our universe is located on the so-called bran, as in the membrane. We are stuck on a flexible surface which is able to shrink, to stretch, fluctuate, and so on, like the pieces of cloth on the rope. These parallel universes are next to each other. Each of them is a neighbor, and we are no exception. Another universe could be just inches from our, but we can't see it. because we have a space with a fourth dimension as these universes occurs through the collision of these brains very slowly closer to each other, until one day they finally encounter. This creates two large explosion and two parallel universes. Then they are growing distance between new worlds continue to live. Now we are at this stage. But when they disappear again, brains collide, and this leads to the birth of a new universe. Remember the theory of inflation? Some mysterious energy has pushed and accelerated the Big Bang. Yes. If we really ran into another universe, that would explain everything, of course, all the above. And here is a great simplification. When we hear that our world is a piece of cloth on the rope, it sounds silly, but this idea is based on string theory and M theory, two of the giants of quantum mechanics. If they own a truth that can explain almost everything in our universe, the creation of the theory is incredibly complex process. Turks and Standard produced a huge amount of computing and rejected a lot of invalid theories. To understand this, they had to go beyond the limits of the human mind and think immediately in 11 dimensions. Unfortunately, over this incredible and elegant theories only laugh. Turks and Steinhardt say that scientists are normal people like everyone else. They also fear change, and the unknown is always scary to question everything we believe in. That many years ago people believed that the earth is round, then they were outraged by the Big Bang theory. It is impossible to discover without the struggle and fear. That is why the Rock and Steinhardt not going to give up in the end. The available evidence suggests that each of the three theories are equally possible, so which one is correct maybe we'll never know, at least in the near future. Unfortunately, we can build only the theory, but maybe one day we'll find something that will open our eyes and we've solved the mystery of how our universe arose.